and forward, right? Yeah, thank you. We hope we can work together to push Doge to the moon. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for coming to our panel on Dogecoin innovations. So my name is Jay. I'm the president of Stanford Blockchain Club. I'm also an investor at Pantera Capital. So my first question to all of our great panelists today that are joining us would be kind of just like, can you introduce yourself and also just talk about what you're working on within the Dogecoin ecosystem?
So yeah, again, so I come from FPX Miner, so I'm like a state-of-the-art chip solution to the world. Yeah, happy to be here and participate in this Dogecoin.
Hey everyone, Charles Chong here. So I joined crypto back in 2021, primarily focusing on mining over the past 3-4 years. So I'm big fan of Dogecoin.
Hey everyone, I'm Carter Feldman. I'm the founder and CEO of QED, and we are focused on making Dogecoin as strong as possible, building smart contracts on Doge, ZK Layer 2 on Doge, and just hoping to extend the mission of Doge to bring fun and secure compute to the rest of the crypto ecosystem.
Hello everyone. I'm happy to be here. Since my English isn't very good, so I might read my phone. What I prepared today. May I? Thank you to the organizer for inviting me. I started in the blockchain industry in 2016. First bought Bitcoin back in 2012. At the time, Bitcoin was just starting in China. I was running my own internet company then, and I didn't fully move into blockchain until I sold my company in 2016. The first thing I did was buy Dogecoin because I like POW, and I enjoyed the joke about the decent Bitcoin. In 2018, I founded the largest Dogecoin community in China, in the world, right here in China. In 2019, I listed Dogecoin on major exchanges like OKX and helped organize promotion with nearly 10 million Dogecoins. In 2023, I developed the Dogecoin Cardius protocol, hoping to meet various ecosystem needs on the Dogecoin chain. Platforms like Dogecoin have been launched, and this year we plan to launch the Doge Pump, like Pump Fund on the Dogecoin chain. That's all, thank you.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for your introductions. So Dogecoin has recently gotten a lot of really great catalysts, whether it's be like potential ETF filings or for there's traction in the U.S. about like the Department of Government Efficiency. So when you think about what it means, what do you guys think bringing Dogecoin to the moon, to beyond, to the Mars and beyond, what does that mean to each one of you?
I think Dogecoin should become independent of Elon Musk. Although Elon has a huge impact on Dogecoin. The evolution from a joke to a community-driven project is a natural process. Similar to Bitcoin ongoing change of leadership, Dogecoin is more decentralized than Bitcoin. In the current top 10 global market values, only Bitcoin and Dogecoin are POW-based. Many Bitcoin miners are also paying attention to and participating in the development on Dogecoin. Of course, things like ETF and Elon's plans to take Dogecoin to Mars and are important milestones in Dogecoin development. But they are not the only ones. I believe that after the ETF, Dogecoin could quickly break through to $1 or $5.
Even $1,000?
$1 or $5, yes, I think. But bring herd beliefs to the community. However, at the same time, Dogecoin is a wide community consensus and greater decentralization. It should not be displayed by the influence individuals or organizations. So I think that's all. You too?
So I agree a lot in the sense that we need to keep Doge decentralized, right?
Yeah.
Who here wants to sacrifice all of Doge's securities so we can make it run a bit faster, right? No one? No one, right? So it's a vote, right? We're democratic here, right? So to make Dogecoin go to the moon, we need to bring applications, we need to bring scalability that has enough of an impact, right? Because like the more people can use something at once, the more impact you get. Like you could imagine if you have a website that everyone uses every day, maybe 1 billion people use every day, you have a big impact on humanity and you're generating a lot of positive value. And we know what happens when positive value gets generated, right? Ka-ching, right? Whenever we generate utility or positive value, that's money that gets pumped into the Doge ecosystem. So to make Dogecoin go to Mars, we're not going to sacrifice on our values, but we do need to bring things like wonderful dApps, new applications, other things on-chain to Doge without, again, compromising those original values. So what's going to take Dogecoin to Mars? Well, we humbly think that QED will, but that may be a biased opinion.
Very humble, very humble.
All right, Doge to Mars. I think I really like this metaphor because it draws a parallel to the time when the entire U.S. united together and landed man on the moon, right? So, and now we're thinking even bigger, like Mars. I think it really captures the spirit of unity and grassroots movements that Dogecoin represents here. And also, like this metaphor, you can actually vividly visualize it. It's a Shiba Inu on a rocket to the moon. I think it really embodies like the power and ambition that Dogecoin can bring here.
Yeah, to me, to bring Dogecoin to the Mars means a lot. Like our vision is that the Dogecoin has the great potential to be the people's crypto, right? That it can be spent like anywhere on Earth, or even like when we are traveling outside of Earth in between the planets. Right? Because it's a decentralized proof of work system, it has the security, it can work without a central, like a bank or central authority to approve the transactions. So bring it to the Mars, I think it's in the vision of like maybe like the original designers of this proof of work system, that like when you're traveling far away from Earth, like how can you pay or pay money to other people like nearby, right? So do you have to send the transaction information back to Earth, back to the central bank, and then and then approve the transaction and make the spending activity? No, we think like Dogecoin is a great medium to facilitate this type of transactions, utilizing the decentralized network, right? So to me, this is like a wonderful vision. Like this is, to me, this is what Doge to the Mars or even further means.
Yeah.
So wait. When do we get so now we have the Zhao Cai Mao, right? That's coming. You know, at the Chinese restaurant, they have the cat that's doing this, right? So that's been announced, right? Mm-hmm. But when is the rocket ship that I can put on my desk? So Dogecoin actually goes to Mars with AlphaPax. Is that coming?
Yeah.
Is this coming? You never know? Okay. Just something could be cool.
It's fully customizable.
It could be cool. It could be cool.
Of course.
All right, I think those were all fabulous visions on kind of the future of Dogecoin as like a, as kind of like an ecosystem. So I'm curious on what do you guys think maybe are some of the challenges that the Dogecoin community still faces today, and how do we work around these challenges?
Okay, I'll go first. So I'm coming from a software engineering background, and I've participated in several open source projects in the past. So I think one thing I would like to see like happening in the Dogecoin community is that we have more actively development activities. Right? The Dogecoin software stack has been there for a long time, and maybe it can have more like developers like involvement, more new features and stuff like that. So that is one of the biggest things I want to see.
I mean, like right now, we also see this enormous lack of tooling for Dogecoin, right? Like Basically, all of our Dogecoin stuff is just little modified versions of Bitcoin. Like, even the stuff that we've been doing, with the exception of Doge SDK, which was built from scratch for Dogecoin, our like Rust SDK that we're developing is a fork of the Bitcoin stuff. Elector's Doge, built from the wonderful Blockstream fork. That's the first open source Doge block explorer, but like there is this software barrier. And then of course on the functionality end, let's be honest, Doge's current blockchain without a ZKP opcode is not very expressive for things like smart contracts, right? You can't really do a whole lot with some additions and subtractions, right? It's not even like Bitcoin where we can have like a really monster, a big chonker of a script, we like to call it internally, right? You know, they have like the cat scale all the way to chonk. Yeah. That's like so Doge kind of cuts off at the very thin area. So in terms of script, we can do something like 500 bytes of code, which is almost nothing. But again, with like the addition of zero knowledge proofs, it's a great way to kind of get around these existing size limitations, because if we add a ZKP opcode, rather than having a really long script, you can just write a zero knowledge circuit for a very long VM trace, and then verify it in that very small, little 500 bytes that you get. So, I mean, we have challenges, but we also have the support of the greatest community in crypto, right? And I'm not just talking about the Doge fans, which are great on Twitter, but also the guys, the mining guys, whether they're, AlphaPex or our friends at Antpool and Bitmain, or just, I feel like the whole community is just so wholesome and so like singularly motivated to solve these things that it's not going to be a problem, and Doge will go to Mars. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think I definitely echo what Ben and Carter say here. I think not having a large enough developer community is definitely one of the main challenges for Doge today. I think similar to Bitcoin, like Dogecoin doesn't have a built-in funding mechanism or pre-mined reserve to bankroll development, right? So where can we find this? But I think if you look at Bitcoin, it has a tremendous run over a very long period of time. You have all these very early passionate whales who are just contributing to open source development, just donating to it. But I don't think we see the same level of contribution in the Dogecoin community. I think the other thing, if you look at Bitcoin, I think in a lot of major cities today, there's BitDev, where all the developers come together, but you don't see that as much in Dogecoin. I think in lieu of funding, I think one thing that we can also do is to just make it a lot more fun and rewarding to build on Dogecoin, right? I think if you look at Bitcoin as well, like before, when Ordinals and Runes got introduced last year, we definitely saw a renewed surge of interest of builders that just want to build on Bitcoin. Like we saw many people that just come into the space. So we need that for Dogecoin as well. I think having like QED and Song here, like just stepping up and leading the charge here, I think that's going to drive the next wave of developers in.
Do you guys want to?
Yeah. We have made a lot of innovation with Dogecoin. Yeah, we've held the Dogecoin conference outside the Dogecoin blockchain, and independent the Dogecoin Cardius protocol on the Dogecoin chain. It was the first to achieve swap on Dogecoin and the UTXO model. The current Min20 protocol is also designed to facilitate asset insurance on the Dogecoin. The biggest challenge in the evolution process has been attacked from other the Dogecoin community. For example, during the Dogecoin conference in 2019, the offshore Dogecoin Twitter account called us scammers. Perhaps because they consider themselves mainstream. I believe Dogecoin should be decentralized and community-driven, not controlled by any organization or individual. Everyone can be a parameter of Dogecoin. It should be open, and the POW should not be changed. The UTXO model Technical allows for a lot of innovation, and it has a very low gas than Solana and other chains. 1 block per meets is already sufficient for many needs to the blockchain. We hope more developers will join the future innovation. It's a blue ocean opportunity. That's all.
Yeah, I think that those are all really great answers. Obviously, Dogecoin, I would say, especially on the development front, is still a relatively newer ecosystem. It's playing catch up with a lot of these dev toys and other things. So I wanted to get into some of the things that you guys are all building on this front. So my next question is for Carter. So I know that QED is bringing ZKP innovations onto Dogecoin's POW network. Can you tell us what QED is building within the space, and what are you planning to basically, how do you plan to basically contribute to this greater Doge ecosystem?
Absolutely. So first of all, who here knows what a zero knowledge proof is? Does anyone know what that is? Some of us, right? But some of us don't. So imagine we could take a trace that processes, like the computation that processes 1 million transactions, right? And I could verify all of those 1 million transactions in half a millisecond on your phone, right? So imagine like we could do this crazy long computation and verify it in a very, very small and succinct proof. And that's what zero knowledge proofs are all about. So in QED, what we're doing is we're taking the core tenets of what a blockchain is, your smart contracts, your DeFi, your AMMs, your stablecoins, and we're putting that inside a zero knowledge proof that then gets verified on Dogecoin and Bitcoin. And the cool thing there is that the only way to send transactions or to spend on QED is if the Dogecoin proof of work and all of the Dogecoin nodes verify our zero knowledge proof. So you get the full security of something like Dogecoin and Bitcoin, but you get all the wonderful applications that you see on other places like Ethereum and Solana. And in fact, QED is even more scalable than that. So we'll be announcing soon, we haven't published our news yet, but we've done 100,000 TPS proved end-to-end. So we'll be able to scale out Dogecoin payments to something like credit card or like Alipay scale if we like. So what we're trying to do, I guess, in terms of furthering that Dogecoin ecosystem is to bring the scalability that Dogecoin has like rightfully exchanged for security, to bring that scalability without affecting the core security or the proof of work algorithm of the chain. Because as we know, there are some folks at a certain foundation that are thinking of or trying to change Dogecoin into a proof of stake coin, which we all, I think collectively can say, hell to the no. Absolutely not, right? Oh, who here agrees? Keep Dogecoin proof of work forever, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, but yeah.
All right, I think that was wonderful. I'm curious on, because in the Ethereum ecosystem, for example, we've already seen like many different companies building all sorts of like ZK chains and stuff like that. But one of the things that a lot of them have kind of maybe lacked a little bit is just like in terms of developer adoption, how do you actually bootstrap that type of developer community? So I'm curious on what do you think people would want to build on like a Dogecoin ZK rollup, for example? What would you want people to be building, and why would Dogecoin as like a ecosystem be uniquely suited for those use cases?
What's the first like meme coin that really made it? Doge, right? Where should meme coins be launched? On Daddy Doge. It's time to bring the meme coins back home. I think we can all agree on that, right? So like, there's no better place to launch a meme coin, right? Whether it's through a DRC20 token or on QED, we would tell you to do it on QED, of course. But you know, it makes sense. And as we know in crypto, narratives sort of drive everything, whether you like it or not. And this is a narrative that has legs, right? This ship will sail. This plane will fly. In addition, I think there'll be other really interesting things like games, but you could also imagine a world, let's imagine, where all of the value transactions that occur, all of the most important computations occur on a Dogecoin layer 2. Like basically, what if the internet was actually verified by Doge? That would be the most interesting outcome, the most hilarious outcome, and judging by some of our friends like Elon Musk's previous attestations, it may be the most likely outcome, right? So we got a Doge department. Can we get a Doge internet someday? I think we can, but it's going to take some time.
Absolutely. I mean, as they say, like the most entertaining outcome is the most likely. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, so my next questions are for Ben. So I know that AlphaPex is building a next generation Litecoin mining machine. Obviously, Dogecoin is very closely related to Litecoin. So can you tell us more about these sorts of innovations and how they kind of bounce off each other?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Litecoin and Dogecoin can be merge mined, meaning that you just run the miner, it can produce both coins simultaneously, right? So for us, AlphaPex, so we are constantly researching and developing the next generation of miners. So in our opinion, miners doesn't have to be like a metal square box that you see today. Right? It can be more interesting like a log. For example, the Fortune dog is one of our attempts to partner with meme miners. And you can see the home miners on that table. It looks not very scary, and it looks pretty nice, and you can place it anywhere at your home. And further, we think in the future, mining can not only be a single device. Instead, it can be happening anywhere where there is electricity and the internet connection, right? So you can turn the home appliances into a miner and let it run during the off-peak hours, and you can turn basically cars or train networks or anything that has electricity capability and network connection capability into a miner. So we hope this kind of innovation and development can also help with more decentralization of the Dogecoin network, so that we can help make this proof of work network more secure, more reliable, and a better Dogecoin network.
What do normal miners sound like? It sounds like, right?
Yeah.
Can we all appreciate how quiet this is? Let's give a round of applause for AlphaPex. Has anyone here been to a Bitcoin mining farm? It's the whole time, right? Because of the fans and stuff. The reason why home miners are hard to do is because of that, right? No one wants to have that going on all day. But listen how quiet this is. This is incredible.
Yeah, and it only takes less electricity than coffee maker, right? So it doesn't really need a special circuit in order to mine.
So how can we buy one?
Yeah, talk to.
Is it sold out for the next 6 months, I think?
Yeah, it's in high demand. It's pretty popular, but we are striving to make more. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like this is really a wonderful innovation there. I mean, one of the really interesting innovations in crypto, at least one of the larger trends, has been this talk of DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure networks. So how do you think, what is the role that kind of these, let's say these miners play within that larger narrative? For example, historically you have Helium or some others that have come out of these mining histories. So how are you thinking about that?
So I think as a miner and a mining solution provider, we strive to provide reliable infrastructure to the proof of work network, right? So the more innovation we put in this infrastructure, we can make the proof of work network more secure. So DePIN, DeFi, and a bunch of whole others applications, they all run on some of the decentralized network, right? So by doing our innovation at the foundation, we believe we can help make things faster, better, and
What's kind of like the biggest challenges in designing a next generation mining device?
Well, it's similar to any advanced chip that you want to produce, right? Imagine NVIDIA, something like that. So this chip is not as complex as a GPU chip, but it still requires a huge amount of engineering effort to make it very efficient, make it very reliable, resistant to heat, moisture, and others. So there are a lot of electronical engineering, software engineering, and reliability engineering put into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So my next questions are for Song. So you've been building on Dogecoin for a long time. Can you give us a walkthrough some of your thoughts and some of your innovations that you've done throughout that time on Dogecoin?
2 years ago, I created Dogecoin Catalyst protocol. I think orders and indexer and this is a future instead of the event. The Catalyst protocol is a major breakthrough to the Dogecoin ecosystem. It not only optimizes how scripts are stored, but also make UTXO programmed. Achieve the real on-chain smart asset compared to traditional DS20. Catalyst offers a more flexible token issuance approach through the MIMI 20 standard. MIMI 20 protocol is a new protocol, well released next month. It's a Dogecoin protocol. There one, not other chains. Yes. Support features like the medical and decentralized custody, which make script assets more efficient and free tradable. Additionally, Catalyst natively support the DeFi ecosystem on the Dogecoin blockchain. For swap, now the Bitcoin no swap and even has swap. Yes, liquidity mining and staking, Doge staking for stable coins directly on chain. Financial attributes also integrate on chain workers. I think work is very important. This is DeFi infrastructures, yes. But now has no worker in the Bitcoin and Dogecoin. Only a real-time Doge USD pricing to offer accurate market pricing for script assets. Supporting the implementation of mean, MT, and gaming applications. Most important, Catalyst breaks down the isolation between script protocol, supporting one-to-one upgrade of orders and Douglas asset to mean 20. In building interconnectivity of multi-chain script and forming a complete loop within the Dogecoin ecosystem. Catalyst transforms scripts asset from static storage to smart, tradable, and independable on-chain asset, pushing Dogecoin towards a truly decentralized future. Yes, this one.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, out of all of these different projects that you've been involved in, which one has been your favorite?
Favorite, you can translate, but I don't.
就是你最喜欢，就是你做好多项目啊，对吧？就是有各种各样的协议，但是你最喜欢哪一个？
I don't know speak Chinese.
Yes, I Chinese, but my English is not very well, so I write on my phone. I think I like Wallace, but Wallace not ecosystem, so I improve Wallace on the Dogecoin. Dogecoin is low gas and spend yes,
Cardinals for the win.
Yes.
Let's go Cardinals. It's like Ordinals, but way better.
Douglas is a large protocol on the Dogecoin. It's focused orders. So Bitcoin now has low swap DEX and other ecosystem. So I improve it. Yes.
Right. I think like having lower like swap fees and all of that is incredibly important for the ecosystem for sure. Yeah. So my next questions are for Charles. So I'm curious on when you're thinking about like innovations on POW chains in particular, what are the things that like builders should be aware of, and what are the things that are most important for POW chains and especially for Dogecoin in general?
Yeah, I think we should all recognize that Dogecoin is the second largest POW chain right after Bitcoin. and I think the third, fourth, fifth is not even close. And I think we have to recognize that it's extremely difficult to build POW chains. You rarely see any new coins that launch today going with POW, because it's very, very hard to build a very robust and decentralized physical infrastructure network. And I think one good thing that comes with POW is you have a broader set of constituents here. Besides your normal holder, trader, builder, now you also have a set of miners and machine manufacturers that are part of the community too. And I think what's really important here is we have to think about how to incentivize them, how to include them in this community so that they would contribute and build on the network itself. So they are not just a miner, but they are bullish about building on Dogecoin, and then they will contribute and build on Dogecoin as well. I think the other phenomenon that we see with POW mining is it becomes very institutionalized now, as many of the panelists have mentioned today, because it's only the large institutions today, they can get cheap power and cheap machines. But Dogecoin, given its mass market appeal, I think we have the very unique opportunity here to bring mining back to the everyday people. But one thing has to come true, which is we have to make the economics work for the average users, because again, they don't have access to cheap power or maybe access to cheap machines like the large institutions do. I think what Alpha Packs have built here, the whole miner, it's very cool. I think Carter was mentioning about the noise, but I think one thing that was not mentioned is most traditional miners, you can just bring home and then just plug it in. Like, those things require you to like hire an electrician, rewire your electricity, because otherwise like you may have to unplug one of your washer and dryer to plug that in. Like, you just can't plug it in your normal plug at home. So I think what they've built here is very cool. And I think what's next, again, like to make economics work, I think one of the low-hanging fruit that Ben has mentioned earlier is just recycling heat, right? So how do we create portable heaters, water heater that can also mine at the same time? Now you are not using additional energy, because what you're really doing is just recycling the heat from mining. So net, your energy usage consumption doesn't go up.
Yeah, and allow me to add to that. So I think we're also seeing some other like Bitcoin miners that like can be run at home. But compared to Bitcoin miners, I think Doge miners can make more economical gain. For example, like for 1 kilowatt of electricity, you can actually gain more like a Dogecoin plus the Litecoin. Equivalent of in the US dollar equivalent compared to Bitcoin. So nowadays, if you are like a small home miner, it's really hard to make any money, even covering the electricity if you go with the Bitcoin route. But with Dogecoin and Litecoin, you can like mine easily. It doesn't require like a huge amount of electricity, and it can generate meaningful income streams. So that is one of the advantage in the Dogecoin miner.
Yeah, thank you both. I think like it's really interesting how because Dogecoin is, as you mentioned already, the second largest POW chain in a world where most chains have gone to a POS system. Reasons for this is because of the environmental impact and like the energy consumption that all of these POW chains demand. How do you think about like the environmental sustainability of these POW chains? What are the new innovations that maybe are reducing this sort of carbon footprint there, and how are you thinking about this impact there?
So in my opinion, like POW and POS doesn't have to be mutually exclusive, right? So each model has its pros and cons. So in my opinion and in our vision, proof of work, it offers the ultimate level of security, right? It's based on pure like work. So it's you can't like revert the history that is like consists of pure work, right? So we believe if some application requires a higher level of security, like you can go with proof of work. Yeah. So regarding like the energy efficiency, we are always constantly improving the technology in the chip, also in the software or scheduling stack. So for example, our chip solution, we can very easily allow the home appliances to adjust when you run and at what speed, at what capacity the chips is running at, right? So during the peak hours, we can turn the chips into sleeping mode or a low power mode easily. And during the off-peak hours, midnight, when the electricity rate is very low, we can turn it on to run at full speed. And we also can coordinate the chips across multiple locations so that some chips they run at full speed and some chips they run at a power efficiency mode. So these are all the software and hardware innovations that we can do to make mining more energy efficient.
Yeah, I think just to build on that, right, most people are not familiar with how the energy markets work. So if you think about the winter storm in Texas a couple years ago, where there was a huge blackout and everything, there was no power, I think the main reason was because there was a spike in demand and then supply came down. So there was a mismatch, and power grids can't handle, they don't like this mismatch, even for a millisecond. For a couple seconds, your entire grid will go down. And when it goes down, it doesn't just come back up. So what miners have contributed here is what we coin the term demand response, right? So what we do is, all right, if the grid needs additional power, the miners would turn it off. There's a pricing mechanism for this. There's a program that miners enroll so that utility companies can tell the miners, hey, I need you to shut down at this point, and they will do it because they actually get paid to do it. Then I think in the past, how we handle the power grids, all right, we'll build all these generators, all these power plants that we call pick-up power plants. So what we do is, if demand goes up, we will turn these power plants on. But most of the time, these power plants turn off. But obviously, that's very inefficient. So now, miners can go to these pick-up power plants and say, hey, instead of you being shut down most of the time, let's take your energy for a very cheap rate, but when the grid needs you, we'll just shut off our miners. So I think that's the big innovation that POW chain has brought to the entire power grid system.
But who has a hot water heater at home? Who has a hot water heater at home?
Everyone, I guess.
Doesn't everyone have a hot water heater at home?
Yeah.
Okay, here's your new hot water heater. Right? Resistive heating is 100% efficient, no?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
100% efficient. You're burning as much energy. If you had a hot water heater made of this, it would require the same amount of energy to heat up that water with your current one as it would if you had a hot water heater made of these, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
It's actually fun because
But you get free Dogecoin.
Cool.
That's how we keep it green. We're not using any extra electricity, right?
this is actually really fun because actually 2 years ago at Stanford, I had some friends actually literally built this during tree hacks.
Fuck yeah.
Literally, it was like an electricity generator, but it was also at the same time like a mining device for some currency. So it was really.
Tree hacks crypto. AI at tree hacks.
We're starting to see it come back. This year we had a great Web3 track.
We'll be sponsoring next year, so fingers crossed.
Looking forward.
It's thermodynamics 101. In theory, energy in equals energy out, but obviously there's some in practicality there's some technical challenges.
Resistive heating is 100% efficient.
Right, which is why we need Alpha Packs to keep doing their R&D and make innovations.
Yeah, we will. Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah, nowadays, you can see a lot of home battery solutions that you can buy on Amazon and other places. But basically, you can achieve the same effect by using a miner at home, right? So during the off-peak hours, nobody's using the energy. Instead of storing the electricity into the battery, which has a limited life circle, right? You can just turn it into some coins, and you can provide the same economic incentive, and without this limited life cycle as a battery.
Yeah, I think obviously these sorts of machines are. Hopefully these are going to be more common in the future as well. So I'm curious on just in general. So what kind of innovations do you guys want to see on the Dogecoin ecosystem in kind of both the short term, medium term, and the kind of longer time frame? Carter, maybe I'll start with you.
DEX, DeFi, meme coins, 3 months. Fingers crossed, right? In the short term, we're hoping to see all of the stuff that we see in other places, like on your Ethereums or Solanas, the AMMs, that kind of stuff, should be coming online in Dogecoin in the next few months. And that's trustless. We're not talking about a side chain. We're not talking, I know there's some side chains coming out, various things from various teams, some good, some bad. But in terms of being directly on the base layer, I would say 3 months is like a reasonable prediction for that. Longer term though, what kind of cool, crazy stuff are people going to build on Dogecoin, right? Like, Dogecoin's such a unique ecosystem. I think we're going to see dApps that never would have existed anywhere else on Dogecoin. I think also games may take off on Dogecoin. This just does make a lot of sense. But yeah, like, the short term, obviously the normal stuff, stablecoins, all that meme-fi is going to come on QED and then on Dogecoin via QED, of course. But longer term, like, yeah, we're going to see some crazy fun applications. I don't know what they're going to be, but we know they're going to be crazy and really fun.
For sure. I mean, but how would you like convince like a new dev, for example, that might have had like Web 2 experience, deving somewhere else or building on like EVM chains and stuff like that too? What does the tooling stack look like, and how big of like a shift is it to this brand new ecosystem?
So first of all, we lead off with one thing. There is only one top 10 cryptocurrency. We're talking CoinMarketCap top 10 for years and years and years that doesn't have an X application, that doesn't have an AMM, that doesn't have, your standard order book DEX, right? As a developer, any other ecosystem you go to, you will not have first mover advantage, let alone a top 10 crypto, right? If you come to Doge, this is virgin territory. Come and plant your flag. You want to make it big? Be one of the first one on a top 10 cryptocurrency, because this opportunity is likely never going to happen again. Because I very much doubt that new coins will matriculate up, except for QED, into the top 10 cryptocurrencies, right? So you'll be hard pressed to have another opportunity like this. It's genuinely once in a lifetime. In terms of tooling, we've got Rust tooling, we've got EVM tooling, we've got you covered. But not everyone is an EVM developer, not everyone is a Rust developer, that's why we offer them both. We're hoping also to draw from like Solana communities, since we've focused on Rust a lot. But in terms of developer experience, it's not going to be that radically different in terms of application logic. In terms of some of the tooling, like you're probably going to be used to Rust unit tests if you're working on Rust versus like using some of the various Solidity testing tools. But I don't think that kind of stuff is the most important thing for determining what serious developers build on. It's more about economics and opportunity at this point.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Love to just get some of the other speakers' takes on this question of what you want to see like in Dogecoin innovation in the short as well as the long term.
Okay, yeah. So for me, I would like to see like more Doge wallets to be available, and more like a user-friendly like Doge wallets, so that it can be spent more easily and offer more like functionalities. So that next time maybe I could just pull out my phone, and instead of using Apple Pay or whatever Pay out there, I can use Doge Pay.
Yeah, I think for me, so short term, I think we just need to do everything we can to attract developers. Mid-term, I think Dogecoin has the potential to become the currency for online micro-tipping. I think that would be very huge for Dogecoin. And long term, I'm just going to throw out a controversial question out here in terms of emissions. So I think if you look at it, Bitcoin today have 0.8% emissions. So emissions means number of new Bitcoin produced a year divided by the circulating number of Bitcoin. And Dogecoin has 3.5%. So I think we need to have a deeper discussions on what the right emissions is, because obviously too high of inflation does destabilize the entire network. And especially in POW chains, because in POW chains, a lot of value do flow out of the ecosystem. So you have your miners paying energy bills, you have your machine manufacturers paying their suppliers, so there is a portion of value being funneled out of the ecosystem. So I think that's something that we should think about.
Okay, I agree with them. I think short term we should develop DEX and swap and so on and infrastructures. I hope with cooperation with QD Protect, I think, yes. And midterm, we need to develop DeFi like DAI, MakerDAO, and DeFi infrastructures. So MakerDAO is very important, and worker is very important. So I will develop these protocols. Yes. And long term, we should keep Dogecoin POW. Only this. Yes.
Yeah, sounds great. I mean, a lot of you guys also mentioned, like the memes and the attention economy type of thing, which has kind of been the narrative of this past cycle, where you've seen so much exploding popularity in meme coin. You've seen presidents launch their own meme coins and stuff. But obviously, a vast majority of these have been on other chains. And Dogecoin, even though it has been the original meme coin created way back before this craze, has kind of like not really captured much of this. So how does actually Dogecoin really capture this meme narrative going forward, do you think?
So I think given that Dogecoin is the original meme coin and it has a long history of like a fun and community engagement, to me, like history is also a very like a positive factor, right? So when you talk about a coin, would you trust a coin that exists more than 10 years, or would you trust a coin that is like invented last week, right? So in this aspect, I think Dogecoin will stay there and will keep staying there, and hopefully will go like much higher and farther and go to Mars, right?
I think we need to bring back the original definition of what meme coin is. I think the original definition of what meme coin is it's a coin that represents a culture. But then I think these days when people talk about meme coin, they think about something that's just gonna go to zero, gonna get down by people are just gambling it away. So I do think like number one thing is bring back the original of meme coin. Like this is a cultural phenomenon, this is a grassroots movement, this is not going to zero.
First of all, I think we should be as accurate as possible. Even though we're at ETH Denver and we love our Ethereum friends, when you say being deployed on other blockchains that meme tokens, we all know that which blockchain is it? Solana, right? It's Solana. So I think the first thing is we need to build a really nice trustless bridge to Solana, which we talked about earlier for those that saw our speech. But then in addition, you couldn't really build a meme coin in the ways that people wanted to use it on Dogecoin. There is DRC20, but the problem has always been with these ordinals-based coins is that you can't connect it up with the underlying asset. So if I have an ordinal token on Bitcoin, I can't make a trustless swap where I have trading pairs that are based on, let's say Carter's cool meme coin to Bitcoin price, right? So there wasn't really a way to make these swappable pump.fun kind of memes on Dogecoin until now, right? So until now, and now we can capture the value. But I think it will come somewhat effortlessly once we have buy-in, we're working with HTX, LBank, BTSC, a few other exchanges that are going to be deploying meme coin dexes on it. So that seeds some initial liquidity. But yeah, we've got, 30 billion of liquidity just sitting there doing nothing. Once we unlock that liquidity, I think there's going to be a lot of value capture. But that's just my opinion.
The question is yes,
Just basically the question is how does Dogecoin capture more meme coin attention as the original meme coin?
I think meme coin on the Dogecoin is very important. Dogecoin now is a meme coin, but I think Dogecoin price is $1 after this. Dogecoin is not a meme coin. Yes, I think Dogecoin is payment important, and I will create Dogecoin colors like Dogepalm. You can use AI agent create pump in the Dogepalm, I will create this year. Yes, improved this year. And Kai's protocol will list a lot of exchanges. So I think Dogecoin, meme coin, a lot of meme coin will list Dogecoin, and a lot of, and after $1, a lot of VC project will list Dogecoin. Yes, I think.
So $1 is the price prediction?
$1 is a milestone.
Like after it's $1, he's saying that like you guys over at Pantera are going to be like, okay, it's time to do the VC tokens on Dogecoin, right?
Do a Dogecoin fund for
The Dogecoin fund, it's coming.
In 2019, my community, Doge channel, called Dogecoin, where achieved $1 5 years, between 5 years. Yes.
It's a super controversial thing that was discussed though. About the inflation. So right now, Dogecoin has 3.5% inflation, right? One of the most important memetics of Bitcoin is price go where? Price go up, right? So like to get more people involved with Dogecoin, price go up would be very nice, right? And this is not something that I am willing to touch with a 10-foot pole because I want all of the miners to love me, whatever their opinion is, right? And it's not really our decision to make because we are, like our consensus is ran by proof of work, so it's up to you guys to like decide. But I'm just curious, like, what are your guys' feelings on like, is inflation better or worse for miners? Like, do we want to do like a Bitcoin halving kind of a deal, where maybe price go up and your profits are the same? Or like, what is better, do you guys think?
Yeah.
It's okay, we're not recording you, by the way. We definitely are.
So I think the current Dogecoin economic tokenomic system is pretty making sense in the sense that it's very similar to what the real money is, right? So imagine that you have a money that can never has like a fixed circulation, like a Bitcoin. Then it doesn't really like promote spending, right? People are becoming like holders, and like nobody's going to spend it. While like the Dogecoin tokenomics is more like natural to be a real money, so people can really spend it, earn it, spend it, and send it to some other people. So I think in this sense it's very healthy, like compared to others, and it can potentially have more application scenarios. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that totally makes sense. I'm curious on what are you guys most bullish on for Dogecoin, let's say over the next year or so?
You mean the price target?
Well, you can talk about price, right? You can talk about like your price predictions, or it can be tech, or it can be anything you want. What's the most bullish thing that you want?
Let me think it a little bit. Let the gentleman.
None of this is financial advice.
Not financial advice. We're not giving any.
No one's taking any. The price predictions are purely for entertainment purposes only.
It's for entertainment and educational purposes.
And education.
Yeah, then I think like I agree with the people over there saying like $1 per Doge is feasible. Like.
Not sure if I'll see this ever come true. I'll see this come true at least this year. But I think what would be really, really, really cool and bullish is like Elon mentioning like Doge wanting to track treasury payments on the blockchain. If the Dogecoin blockchain is selected, I think that would be very, very cool.
And especially if it were done through QED's ZK execution layer on Dogecoin, that would be by far, I think, the most bullish sentiment.
Yeah. Past years, I let my friend sold Ethereum by Dogecoin. Yeah. While Ethereum price is high, you need sold and buy Dogecoin. And next 4 years, I think Dogecoin no financial. Yeah. I think Dogecoin price will reach more than $2. Yes. And
or even $200.
No.
Again, these are not financial advice. These are just numbers. Please do your own diligence. But yeah, I think those are all wonderful things. I guess like one of the really interesting, like one of the amazing developments has just been like since the election and all of this hype around, especially the Department of Government Efficiency here in the States. So I'm curious on what are your thoughts or takes on kind of this meme coin discussion seeping into U.S. politics in particular?
So I think like Doge, Department of Government Efficiency is here to improve government efficiency, right? And DogeCon on the same time is here to improve money efficiency. That's my take.
That's great. That's a great analogy.
I think it goes back to what I said earlier. I think when Elon called it Doge, I don't think he was particularly referring to the cryptocurrency, but more really the cultural phenomenon, right? Like, again, it's a people's coin. It has all the narrative and hype from the people. People know what it is. People pay attention to it. I think that's what matters here. It's a cultural thing.
I mean, like, if you went to the Doge.gov website on the first day, it was the Dogecoin picture.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, I think something's coming, right? And it is a little bit tragic that politicians may kind of see crypto as this sort of like way to get quick money without any consequences. That's kind of unfortunate. I'm glad that meme coins are not securities, and I think that we probably won't see a lot of SEC prosecution of meme coins because the president made one. So it seems like meme coins are a go for this at least the next few years. But maybe bearish if there's a Democrat win another time because he may want to go after Big Donald's later on. So it may become a cyclical thing. But yeah, let's all be frank. At least some of those that got into crypto in the earlier days, like, I don't want government to have anything to do with this. I don't want to be regulated by it. I don't want them deploying things with it. I don't want them to be involved with anything. So in that sense, it's unfortunate that government is involved with meme coins, but certainly from a regulatory perspective, I think we're good. I think we're good.
So Dogecoin and the U.S. government. Thoughts since the election?
Doge
就是
government,
Dogecoin 跟美国政府现在就是因为川普啊这些就是政治人物就开始法币，那你觉得这是好的还是？
No, not bad, not good thing. Yeah, I think we need independent Elon Musk. Yes, we need develop our Dogecoin ecosystem. Not instead. I think Dogecoin is the people's Bitcoin. Yes. We hope Dogecoin reach the $1, so we can develop like a credit protocol and capitalist protocol and other DeFi infrastructures. Yes, and miners and a lot of Bitcoin miners were developed in the Dogecoin. My friend, in last year, a lot of Bitcoin miners. Yes. I think Doge government not Dogecoin. Yes. So Dogecoin. We need improve a lot of protocol instead Ether event. Yes. This is very important, and we need that a lot of developer knows UTS model is good for event. So that's all.
Yeah.
Like with the fall of Greece and the rise of Rome, people stopped speaking Greek and started speaking Latin, right? So too will we no longer write solidity and begin to write rest, right? Who here has felt the fall of the Greek Empire here with Ethereum? Anyone see some decay occurring in the empire?
We're at ETH Denver. We are at ETH Denver.
Well, there was the Ethereum Foundation, not at ETH Denver, right? Anyways. With the EVM stuff that he's talking about. 我十分同意。
Yeah, I think it's particularly important to have boosters in the government for sure. It always helps an industry that's somewhat been persecuted over the last 4 years. Another really interesting factor is just I think throughout just crypto at large, you see kind of two very different subcultures within it. One, I mean, this is what Chris Dixon calls the casino versus the computer culture. You have on the one hand really degen people that just want and use this new financial infrastructure for trading and speculation. At the same time, you have a lot of really cool, hardcore tech innovations happening at the same time. I think this is particularly interesting in the case of Dogecoin, just because it is the original meme coin. So how do you think we should balance these two different energies within a growing Dogecoin ecosystem?
So I think any ecosystem in order to be successful, it needs a financial incentives. So if the Dogecoin network can provide enough economical incentive to persuade more developer coming in to make more features, to improve more functionalities, I think that's a win-win. So I don't see this is a very conflicting thing, but instead it should be a very a natural ecosystem.
I think we need to have a true North Star and stick to it. And I think it could be different for everyone. Everyone can have a different North Star for Dogecoin. We do have to agree as well. For me, the North Star for Dogecoin is, again, currency for online micro-tipping. So if we stick to that, sure, people treating it as a meme coin or gambling on it, great. It creates financial speculation. The price goes up and down. It drives more attention. That's great, but I don't think we need to get distracted by it. I think it's just cherry on top, because if you get distracted by it and we get distracted by the price, and then when price goes down, it's no, it's dead. We're not going to build on it anymore. So I think that is bad for it. So I think everyone should think for themselves what they think Dogecoin is and should be, and what is the time frame for it. Again, most things in life don't last 1,000, 2,000 years. So again, what's your time frame for it, and then plan accordingly.
So some people go to these fancy horse races, right? And they'll sit in a really expensive skybox, right? Maybe it costs $10,000 or $50,000, right? And they'll bet on the race, and they'll look through their little weird glasses that have the little stick attached to it. And then there will be others that take their weekly paycheck and go on stake.com and play Plinko, right? They're both gambling, and I think when it comes to the computer people, however much they may want to quote themselves in the words, the buzzwords, and other technical sort of, intrigues of Web3, a lot of them are here to speculate and gamble as well. So I think they're degens in different clothes. In terms of real utility, interesting applications on chain other than speculation and ML and other things, right? I think Doge actually will excel at a lot of those, specifically within games. So I think for the computer people, we can bring them in with gaming, potentially with domains. Doge would be awesome, right? Especially for on QED. But yeah, so I think the computer people will come in for the games. They'll come in for also the proof of work security, because we know what are the computer people like. The computer people are always jabbering on about decentralization and security, right? The degen people are looking for leverage. But with Dogecoin, you can get better security than Ethereum or Solana. And for the degens, we've got the king meme, the first meme of them all, and the only one that is still, sticking around in the top 10 to this day. So I think we appeal the best to both crowds.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yes, I think don't worry about it. Powerful and infrastructure. Powerful need DeFi infrastructures, yes, like Swap, DEX, and others, yes. So we need powerful, will improve a lot of infrastructures, great, yes. So I think I am a POP holder people, yes, and I'm a DeFi developers, yes, and infrastructure developers, yes. So this we don't have worry about it. Yes, they are the same. Yeah, they need the infrastructures. So we need a lot of pound fund like this projects. We need yes.
For sure. I think the future of Dogecoin is bright. Thanks to all of you guys here. I think, that wraps up our innovation panel on Dogecoin. Thank you, everyone, for presenting so many different perspectives here. And thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.